Hey guys, welcome to Fantasy Effect episode 48. What week are we in? 14. This is a week 13 rewind, week 14 preview. We're brought to you by Dynasty Theory in partnership with Dynasty Daddy. And as always, Fantasy Football Infinity. Mick Spagster and Holler are here with me. How's it going, guys?
Good, man. I feel like the fantasy season's it's already starting to wind down, even though I feel like it just barely started. So
crazy. Went by so fast, and I think it's because my wife was pregnant, and then the kid was born. So I think time's going by so fast, but things are really good. I'm stoked. I was looking at my teams the other day, and I've got I think around 50% in the playoffs. So not bad for me.
Nice.
We're getting there.
A little lower.
Real good. Yeah, I'm close to that. Slightly lower, but yes.
Yep.
Close. I'm feeling good about it. Feeling better than I did, a few weeks ago, I guess.
Yep.
Should we get into the news here with the injuries?
Let's do it.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Tank Dell, fractured fibula, out the rest of the season. That sucks. Fibula is the thigh bone, isn't it? That's the big boy, right?
It's like the big one, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's gotta suck to break. That's like the strong one in your leg there, man.
Yeah. Anyway, that one's tough, and I'm sure he'll be back ready for the beginning of the season. There's a lot of time, obviously, but that's a big thing. Like, that's a bummer because he was killing it. I think we'll talk about it a little bit later, but I think that's gonna hurt the Texans quite a bit.
The one saving grace there is that it's like a bone fracture. It's not like a ligament issue where you have to worry about if it's like performance based. Like, once the bone heals, he's good to go, right? So there's gonna be any performance concerns.
Agreed. I think the biggest thing is just kind of the hit for the team in general.
For sure.
But I think he'll be back beginning the next season and be just as good.
He's spent a lot of time dinged up his entire rookie season. Any concerns about that frame? That he is pretty slight. He's a slight fellow. I mean, he's really good when he's on the field, but at the same time, right? He spent a lot of time dinged up.
I mean, a little bit, but I mean, this is he has a bone in his leg, like that broke. Right?
This one's definitely like a freak,
Yep.
Like that could have happened to anyone, right? Whether you're 6'5", 240, or whatever Tank is, 5'10", 170. But
I don't think it's a big deal moving forward. I think even with him being dinged up most of the year, I just think he's had some bad luck. I think now I'll give him some time to fully heal with everything. Obviously it's never good to have a big injury like this, but I just think with all those things that were lingering, I think now he'll just be fresh coming in through next year, and I think it'll be just fine. He's got such a good connection with CJ Stroud. I'm not too worried about his size at all.
They do. They're like two peas in a pod, peanut butter and jelly.
Yep. That's what we like. That's what we like for our
peanut butter jelly
wide receivers.
Peanut butter jelly time. Well, anyway, before Ramondre Stevenson, high ankle sprain, could be out the rest of the season. Probably should be out the rest of the season, I would guess, with how the Patriots season is going.
Yeah.
No reason to rush him back. Kenny Pickett, high ankle sprain. He's not playing Thursday. There's additional notes on Kenny Pickett. You guys read those amongst yourselves.
Yeah. One thing on Stevenson, what I was going to say is we'll talk about more guys later, but that's a big bummer for fantasy wise because he had a really good schedule going into the playoffs. Was playing some pretty, easier run defenses. And so that's a big, because I would assume he's on a lot of contending teams. He's one that people would go out and get. And so I know a couple of my leagues that he was on the trade block and people were saying, hey, come and get him. He's got a really good schedule. So that's a big bummer for basically the playoffs. I mean, I know he's not been the greatest and the Patriots really suck, but I just think overall he would have been a good, solid player for the fantasy playoffs.
For sure. He's been getting receiving work. He hasn't been overly efficient, but he's been getting some good, PPR scoring. He's been pretty solid.
Yeah, and I think I was just gonna say he was gonna be a good flex play, So I think that's a bummer for the playoffs.
Will you guys be buying Ramondre at his new deflated price?
No,
I would not. No,
he didn't look good, and the Patriots have no loyalty to running backs, and There's a decent chance that Belichick's going to be gone. It could be a new regime. Might want their guys. I don't.
Yeah,
That's the big one for me is if Belichick's gone, really, what are they going to do with Ramondre?
yes, exactly. And I would like to see what else like his contract's like, because I'm assuming if he's obviously under contract.
One more.
Yeah, if he's under contract, he'll be there next year. But with the new regime and everything, you don't know how it's going to work out and how they're going to use him. And so I'm out on Ramondre.
Yeah, so I just looked it up. So he's got 1 more year on his contract. So even if he's still the starter in New England, I think his days of being a fantasy irrelevant back are numbered. He's not one of those guys that when he hits free agency, he's going to demand a big market. He's like a prime example of a guy that you want on his rookie contract, and then you want to dump him because he's going to be useless after that. So
yeah, 100%. And he could possibly be like, if he after next year, if he goes to like a really good team, they could use him as a like a secondary back, but he's not going to be somebody that you really want in fantasy world.
For sure.
Yeah, I am in agreement with you guys on that one. Christian Kirk got the core muscle surgery going on. That's
big
less
bummer.
than ideal for him. Yeah, man. It was like the first play of the game too.
Yeah.
He caught that deep route and then just like that was it.
That was one that I read. It was like a core muscle surgery or whatever. I was like, that sounds awful.
Yeah.
I don't know what that entails, but it doesn't sound pleasant.
Not great.
Yeah, not at all.
No.
And he was, WR2-3 range, and so that's a big bummer for sure. I think that's really good for Ridley. Well, we'll talk about it in 1 second, but like it should be good for Ridley. And that's just unfortunate for the Jaguars altogether.
Yeah. You guys gonna try to acquire any Christian Kirk at this?
I did. I sent Cortland Sutton, and I got Christian Kirk straight up for him, which I felt good about. I did that with JB actually.
JB loves Cortland Sutton, so there you go. But he
Christian
does love
Kirk
Christian Kirk.
too.
Yeah,
I smashed it so fast, about broke my new phone.
So
that's good. Yeah, I'll look into some Christian Kirk on some of my obviously my non-contending teams, and because he's since he's been with Jacksonville, he's a solid player. So
also, did you know that Christian Kirk is only 1 year younger than Cortland Sutton? I thought they were bigger. I thought they were a bigger age gap, but Kirk is 27 and Sutton's 28. So
wow.
Be careful with Christian Kirk. He does have a potential out in 2024. I can't see the Jaguars actually. Yeah, I can't see the Jaguars. My thing would be like his usage. We saw him in Arizona, and he wasn't. Anything. He wasn't much of anything.
I think the bigger thing. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say he's got Fabio throwing him the ball, and Fabio loves him. Doug Peterson seems to love him. That would just be my only concern is maybe the volume changes if he goes somewhere else. He can still be Christian Kirk, but at a lesser extent.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think he'll leave Jacksonville. I think they'll keep him around.
I think
as long as T-Law's there, and they don't. Yeah,
more likely to go because his rookie contract is finally ending this year.
Oh,
that's so crazy.
He's a free agent.
10 years later, huh?
Yeah, that's insane.
Jeez, Louise, I feel like he's been in the league for a million years, and he did a 1-year suspension.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Elite Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. Hell, jeez, Louise. All right, Trevor Lawrence. High ankle sprain could play this weekend.
Yeah, it sounds like he's doing everything he can to play. I bet he sits out this week, but it's promising that he might be able to give it a go next weekend. I don't know. He's actually fairly mobile too, so it's a little worrisome that he might not be as mobile. It might hurt with some of his pocket movement, and then he's deceptively athletic for rushing, so something to keep an eye on there.
Yeah, that was so unfortunate, just being stepped on, and then also the defenders fell on top of him, and just like that looked so it hurt.
They couldn't get a cart for the poor kid.
Jeez, that was like insane.
That guy stole all their money.
And that's right. And it just looked like he was in so much pain walking back there. And they just kept showing it on Monday Night Football. I was just like, come on. But that was really unfortunate. And I think that's what I was going to talk about is with if Ridley with Christian Kirk out, Ridley should be better. But if Trevor Lawrence is out, I don't know. I think it's going to be a lot of Trevor Etienne. And so we'll see. I think they did all right with CJ Beathard, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I like to call him beat hard.
Travis Etienne. I think Trevor's his little brother. We'll
yes,
talk
I
about
know.
him,
I know.
In a couple years in the draft class. He's good though. I've been doing that too. Just 'cause I've been watching some of his film.
Yep.
I just thought you mixed Trevor Lawrence and
well, I kind of did, but then
Yeah.
Etienne, because I do know about Trevor Etienne. So
okay, should we move on to this week 13 rewind here?
Let's do it.
Tyler, you want here first?
yeah, so a couple of my guys that had a really, really good weekend. Mike Evans, man, that guy does not slow down. 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons with just crap quarterbacks, right? And so I think he goes somewhere next year, and I think he's pretty locked in. And even if he stays, what?
Hold on.
It's the Tom Brady years, I think, is what.
There's like 2. Listen, I'm not a big Brady defender or anything.
Okay.
But there's 2 years where he had really good quarterback play.
Okay. 20%. Okay, sorry, 20%, and that's like at the end of Brady's. All right. Anyway, this is about Mike Evans. Come on.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But yeah, so last week he had 140 yards and a touchdown. Baker's throwing him the ball, so I've been super impressed by him this year. And then I think he has a really good. The last 4 games are against the Falcons, the Packers, the Jags, and the Saints. And so I think he has a pretty solid schedule for the playoffs. And I'm assuming, again, he's a player that is probably going to be on a contending team. If you have him on a team that you're not contending, go ahead and try to trade him if your trade deadline's not passed, because he's definitely putting points on your team that you don't want. And so that's a guy that I've been super impressed with, and another really good game. And then Nico Collins, my God, Ron likes to just crap on Nico Collins, but I think I said at the beginning of the season I was a Nico Collins fan, and I think I don't know if it's Nico's good, but I think it's more just CJ Stroud is a very, very good quarterback. Mm-hmm. And so, but I want to give it a little bit to Nico as well. And then he actually has an even better schedule. The first one, which is not week 14, if they play the Jets, but then they play the Titans twice. So in the quarterfinals, he's playing against the Titans, and then the Browns. So he has 2. The semifinals is against the Browns, and the Browns. I was looking up some of the yards per game for passing, and the Browns are the best. They only give up 153 yards passing per game. So I think that's going to be a pretty tough game. And then the Jets only give up 176 yards per game. So I think that one's going to be pretty tough. But luckily, the one against the Jets is this weekend, so it should be all right. But he's got 2 games against the Titans. So if you can get through the semifinal, in the final, he's playing against the Titans, and the Titans give up. I was looking at that, and they give up 230 yards per game. So I don't think their cornerbacks are that good. So I think he'll be pretty good. And then I put 2 guys here that had a really good weekend, but also I don't think they will have good weeks against in the fantasy playoffs. James Conner, old reliable, 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. But unfortunately, he plays the 49ers this weekend, the Bears, and the Eagles. Oh, sorry, not this weekend. They're on a bye. They play the quarterfinals of the fantasy playoffs. They play the 49ers. So that's a really tough fantasy playoff schedule. And so I'm assuming he'll get some yards, but you're really hoping there that he falls into the end zone. And then Devin A-Chain, this is my guy, but unfortunately he had a good game, 103 yards and 2 touchdowns. But the more I was looking at it is he got a lot of touches that when the game was out of hand already. And I think they were just using him just to get on the field, but he also has a really hard schedule. Titans, Jets, Cowboys, Ravens. That Jets, Cowboys, Ravens, that's brutal. So I don't think he's going to really helping you in the fantasy playoffs.
The one thing I'll say about A-Chan is that game was over within the first 7 minutes of the game. So it was almost all garbage time.
They singled up Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Repeatedly after he cooked them.
Yeah, right. The
don't
man's
Yeah, I mean,
been
but
torching double teams all year long.
it was good to see that he this is kind of sad, but it was good to see he came out without getting injured, because that's always the worry with him recently is like so, but 103 total yards, pretty solid. But I would just be cautious with his playoff schedule.
For sure. The one comment I had about Mike Evans, just circling back, is just that they play the Saints that the championship game, and he
Lattimore's
historically
out.
struggles with.
Lattimore's out.
I'm just saying he
No,
generally struggles with the Saints. Like
yes, I'm 100% with you, and that is usually a low scoring game, like the the NFC.
Those games are weird.
Super weird. Just like the the AFC South, right?
Mhm.
So it's he actually, I didn't love his. I like his Packers Jags is solid, but even the Packers have a solid defense. So if you can get through the semifinal and get into the final, I think he'll help you in the semifinal. So maybe you can split it if you're in the championship game.
The Packers defense is real hit or miss. So we'll see.
Yeah. The one I liked a lot was Nico Collins because the Titans twice. He was and I think I've seen Mitch said it in the Discord. Like I think he rest of the season he's going to be really good. I think he'll be a WR1 rest of the season, especially with Tank being out. So think if your trade deadline is if you don't have a trade deadline, go out and grab him.
Which real quick, you shouldn't have a trade deadline because they're dumb.
Agreed.
Yeah. Which leads me to my next question, McSpanky. Some of your leagues have trade deadlines.
that's real awkward. I'm not gonna lie. I just shit all over trade deadlines.
Because I had to ask because I was literally, I'm going through leagues, set lineups, and I'm like, wait a second, this is a McSpank. I'm like, why do we have deadline?
I think I saw. Yeah, I think I saw
probably ones that I set up a couple of years ago, and I haven't changed them. So we'll vote in the offseason.
We'll say it was accidents. We'll say they were accidents.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. We'll fix it. Don't worry.
McSpankster, you want to get into your guys?
Yeah. So this one, Ron, you're not going to like it, but Jordan Love, dude, homie's cooking, man.
Yep.
So since week 8, he's the QB6 these last few weeks. Like he is just playing lights out, which is crazy because he was playing so awful. And
calm down, Chris Collinsworth.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Just kidding.
I'm just saying.
Go ahead.
He has been playing really well. Now granted, he's a Utah State guy, which is where I went to college. So I've been rooting for the kid, but he's playing really well. Some of his receivers are coming on. Christian Watson has been looking better. Yep. Romeo Doubs is still good. Jaden Reed's been playing well. Like this offense is showing some progress, which is kind of nice to see. I mean, unless you're a Lions fan. So Jordan Love he's I don't know. He's coming on strong. I'll be interested to see. I think he's still under contract next year, right? Because he got that weird deal, right, where he's like under contract for cheap. So they probably keep him now, which is nice for a dynasty perspective. If you have him, you can kind of hold him for one more year, or maybe go try to get a cheaper quarterback. At running back, I had Kyron Williams here, so he's been a monster since he's been back, really all year since he's kind of took over the starting role. When he's healthy, he's been a monster. He's been a running back one pretty much every week. He's started and finished the game for the Rams, and I don't see that changing. So I think he could be a potential league winner for you. And then this last guy here, Parker Washington, he actually had a pretty decent game after Kirk went out. It's funny, Ron and I were just talking about him a little bit before the show started, but Zay Jones is always banged up. Calvin Ridley, he's one guy, but this is more assuming that Trevor Lawrence comes back. Parker Washington might be a guy to just keep an eye on. I think he was on waivers in pretty much all of my leagues, so he's kind of a cheaper option. Maybe see how he does this week before you start him. And I know in the fantasy playoffs it might be dicey, but if you just lost Christian Kirk, I mean, this feels like a natural fit. So,
Yep, I like that. One thing about Kyron is this weekend the Rams play the Ravens. So hopefully you're if you have Kyron, you're kind of locked up with your playoff. And then the Commanders. So then the quarterfinals, that's a really good matchup. The Saints, they're solid against the defense, but if you make it to the championship game, they play the Giants, so that's going to be really good as well.
Well, and here's the thing too with Kyron is like he's kind of game script proof, just that he catches a lot of passes too. So even if they get behind, he's still involved. Even if they play good defense, like he gets like most if not all the carries, and he gets involved in the passing work. So
yeah, my main worry is the Ravens. But I think he'll be fine. He'll
Yeah.
get his points
for sure.
Quick question
And then-
on Parker Washington. When did he start getting targets in that game? I fell asleep before Trevor got hurt. So if it was when the backup quarterback was in, that would just be my only thing. Is like he probably has a rapport with old Beathard there.
He caught the touchdown from Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
did.
And you know, with Beathard, he was about a dump off. So you know who got the most? I think it was Ingram and ETN. And so
Okay.
I don't know. I think more if you're going to use him in the playoffs. I think Trevor Lawrence will be back, and so I think he's going to be their WR2 or 3, right? And I feel more comfortable with him than I do Zay Jones. So if you're putting Zay Jones in your lineup, and you got Parker Washington off the waiver, you know, kind of just have a coin flip there. I think either one of them is going to be okay.
Sure. Fair. I was just kind of curious on that one. If it was, you know, backup quarterback came in and all of a sudden this dude comes out of nowhere. Crazier things have happened. So we move into the week 14 matchups.
Real quick, on Jordan Love I was gonna say I didn't go to Utah State, so I don't have any extra but he's playing really well. So I think they have a lot of confidence in him. So I think he's going to continue in. I know. I'm sorry.
Ron's going to be sick.
Yeah, but no, I mean, QB6. I mean, that's impressive. So you know, I remember back on here, I had him at QB20, and then I said, oh, that was too high. When we went back and re-ranked the quarterbacks. So now he's, I think, firmly in the top 20 for sure.
You reversed
quarterbacks. Yeah, I sure did, which is nice because I had I got one share a couple weeks ago. So I think it's going to be the Rams and the Packers that are going to be fighting out for that last playoff spot, and maybe the Vikings as well.
I hope Stafford has to come to Detroit and play his.
That would be cool.
It would honestly. Cool. It would be a pretty full circle for the whole Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, trade. It would be pretty cool to see that. Anyway, week 14 matchups. Bye weeks are Commanders and Cardinals.
Who's watching this?
Ball. We got a real sweet one coming up. Patriots at Steelers.
Who's watching this game? Sheesh.
Probably us.
Yeah.
True.
I turn it on for sure.
That's because we have problems, but this has one of the lowest over-unders that I've seen. I'm pretty sure it was at 30.5.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which honestly it does, dude.
Does feel high, yeah.
Feel high.
The Patriots have been holding everybody under 10 points and still losing.
Yeah.
Did you guys see? Hard to do.
So the NFL posted highlights of the Chargers Patriots game, and one of the top comments was the blatantly running up the score with that second field goal attempt. It was just So this is bad, dude. I don't know.
Still Bailey Zappi this week?
I think so.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. But it doesn't matter. Him and
fire Zeke up. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Unless I have to, but no, I don't feel good about it. I mean, the Steelers have a solid defense, and I just don't feel good about that Patriots offense at all. And I don't think.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't think that Zeke can't catch the ball the same way that Ramondre can. So that's what Ramondre's upside is. So I don't feel good about Zeke at all.
This has 10-3 written all over it, with one of the teams scoring on defense, not an actual offensive touchdown.
Yeah, it's gonna be a punt block.
Although I think Jalen Warren, it would be a solid option if Najee doesn't play. I think.
Sure. Oh yeah, for sure. Are you guys feeling any worse or better about the Steelers' weapons now that Mitchell Trubisky is playing quarterback?
I feel worse. As bad as Pickett is, I think Trubisky's worse, to be honest.
Yes, I agree. They did put up good numbers. What was last? I think week 12. They put up close to 500 yards. And then Pickett. I didn't really see how well he was doing before he got injured, but I think it was mediocre, right? So I feel worse for sure. I don't think Trubisky's any better than Pickett. So I feel worse for sure.
I mean, he got hurt going towards the goal line, so they were at least driving.
Yeah.
Okay. Texans at Jets. Who's gonna fill the Tank Dell role? So who's gonna get these targets? Bobby Trees, Brevin Jordan, Dalton Schultz.
I'm going with there's
Nico?
gonna lean more on Nico, and I think Robert Woods maybe gets just a little bit more. But
Mhm.
Sure.
you know who it feels weird that Brevin's been
He
that
was good.
Brevin's been he's been solid. But I think also he was a little bit better because Schultz was out. Even when Schultz was in the week before, I think Brevin got more targets. So it'll be interesting to see when Dalton Schultz is back in, but I don't feel comfortable with firing up Dalton Schultz. Nico is kind of the only one I probably feel comfortable with in the receiving. Even though CJ Stroud puts up a lot of numbers, I just don't know where it's going. I don't feel comfortable like saying, "Oh, it's going to go here," other than Nico.
Mm-hmm. And Zach Wilson is going to play. There was a brief moment there where he was like, "I'm not going to play." And let me tell you what, I've done this to a coach before, and honestly, it's glorious to be like, "Nah, man, I'm good."
Nah, how about no?
Nah.
It's just funny that everyone always thinks that the backup can play better, but sometimes they can't, and that's why Zach Wilson had as long of a leash as he had. And
Tim Boyle is brutal.
Yeah, he was with
cut.
the Lions for preseason. So I got to
goodness.
watch him play for 3 games. And they immediately went out and got Teddy Bridgewater after the first game. He played the second game and then got cut like halfway through the third game, something like that. They were pretty much.
I feel like if you get cut from the Jets quarterback room, it's pretty much the end of the line for you.
Oh,
you're just
100%.
hang up the cleats.
Yep.
Yeah. Next game up here, Rams at Ravens. Sean McVay tells us that Puka Nacua will be listed as limited, but from the walkthrough, he doesn't know what that means because he did everything that he needed to do today. So
who's putting out the practice report?
I don't know.
Not the coach.
I don't know, man.
I always thought the coaches were the ones that said.
Team doctors, maybe?
Is it the team doctor?
Yeah,
could be.
But also,
look into that.
If you did everything, how are you limited?
Yeah, right.
That doesn't make sense.
I was seeing. I saw some of the things posted in the Discord, and I was like, "What? That's a little weird." But this is kind of what the Sean McVay does. I feel like he just messes with people.
That's how a lot of the NFL coaches are, which is weird too, because so many teams have gotten in trouble this year for not putting players on the injury report like they're supposed to, or I don't know, man. So now maybe there's overcorrecting, and there's being like, well, he was a little slower than normal, so we're gonna put him as limited.
I mean, maybe he could do everything for a walkthrough, but had they put the pads on, maybe he would have sat out a few things.
That could be it.
That's my guess.
But
Panthers at Saints. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Panthers Saints.
I think Carr.
I
think Carr. I don't know if he's still in the protocol, but he feels good. I don't think he plays.
Yeah, he got really beat up on one tackle or one sack. One quarterback hit wasn't even a sack. I think it was like rib, shoulder, and concussion all in that one play or something like that, man. Like,
he went out with the craziest injury report ever. It was like concussion, shoulder, and back, and I was like, "Good God, man! Like, is he gonna be all right?"
And then I saw Shaheed. Yeah, I don't know if he is going to play either. I think he was questionable. Did he practice today?
I do not know. I did not see anything about Shaheed.
I have some shares, but I don't think I have them in my lineup, so I didn't really look at the news.
So let's see. Carr was limited, even though he's in the protocol. Shaheed did not participate.
Yeah, I don't think he plays either.
The Hayden Hurst situation is pretty scary. Thanks for
that. So it sounds like he doesn't have any memory retainment at the moment. Is that how I read that?
That's what amnesia sounds like to me. Yeah. Man,
hopefully he'll be okay. He's a good dude too. I know he him and I think his brother run like a suicide prevention kind of thing too, and they've been really big on that and mental health, which he's a cool dude. So hopefully
Yeah.
he'll be all right, and he can. Some things are bigger than football, so hopefully he'll be all right.
Yeah, definitely. What do you guys think about Chuba?
Chumbawamba?
Jabba the Hutt. Yeah.
He's been good. I remember I really liked him coming out of college, or at least his junior year. And then he returned for his senior year, and he was kind of just meh. But I'm glad he's getting an opportunity. Seems like he looks good. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets replaced next year. Just with, but for the moment, I feel good
for the playoffs. Yeah, fantasy playoffs
for sure.
Here. Yeah.
Yep, fire him up. Yeah, I was just kind of like, he's not like nothing sexy, but I think he's a good flex play. So
Definitely. Everybody's frozen for me.
Did Ron freeze? Okay.
Oh, just holler, I think.
Okay.
We got Colts at Bengals. Jake Browning, is he going to take the Bengals to the playoffs?
No. Question mark?
That's what I was like. He looked good. He looked really good.
Fine. Yeah.
I mean, but granted, the Jaguars don't have the best. Like, they have a good front defensive line. Like, their defensive line is good, but I don't like their passing defense isn't very good.
There's a lot of first rounders running around out there.
Yeah. So I don't know if they can make it to the playoffs, but I think he will put up solid numbers. Like, he had a really good game.
Yeah. He looks.
I mean, they're only a game out right now, so they're not like.
Right. I mean, they're playing the Colts. I mean, the Colts are pretty much the same situation. They might be they might be the team ahead of them. They might be the 7th seed, maybe.
The Colts are the 6th seed currently right now. Yeah.
The 6th seed. Okay. Was Zach Moss hurt this past weekend as well? Did I see that?
I don't think.
Not that I know of.
Okay. All right. I'm just making up crazy things. Don't worry about that question then. Any large takeaways from Colts Bengals at all?
Just that it's oddly relevant for the playoffs, dude. I don't know, because it seemed like Browning was just peppering Jamar Chase, which I mean, you can't blame him, right? But T. Higgins has been this year has been brutal for him.
It has.
I don't know.
Hopefully, you moved him.
It probably doesn't matter if you have him to start. To be honest with you, he probably is not on too many contending rosters, just based on how bad he's been and his price to acquire. So,
yep.
Very
he's not somebody I would go out and try to get before the playoffs. He's not. I don't think he's going to get any
on a rebuild. Would you?
It depends on the price. The price shouldn't be too bad right now. So yeah, if I have somebody that is going to help that, like that contending team, and I don't have to pay too much to get him, because I think he's going to go to a new team, and I think he had some injuries this year, obviously. So I think I would, depending on the price, I totally would try to acquire him.
Paying late first?
No. Give me one of the wide receivers that are coming in.
I was gonna say not with the receiver class coming out, but
sure, that's fair. Bucks at Falcons. Just two quick ones on this one. What do you guys think Ritter's future is?
He done.
Yeah, he should be done. I mean, we obviously don't. We know how the Falcons are, so it's hard to exactly put my finger on this one. But I think he's done.
Sure,
for sure.
And Baker's future, is he the Buccaneers quarterback next year?
Maybe it depends on
maybe. I mean,
draft spot. If they're up in a position to get one of the quarterbacks, I think he might be gone. But if not, we kind of talked about next year's quarterback free agency class, and it's not the greatest. So he is part of it. So that there's a decent chance they just bring him back in for another year and see where they go. They're in cap hell too, so they're.
Yeah, and so I think it's possible for him to come back just because he'll be cheap. He's played well, so it's not like they're going to want to just be like, oh, what else can we get? I mean, I know there are some. I would think we talked about it last week. The QBs, free agent QBs, are not the best, and so other than Kirk Cousins, and I think the next guy was Ryan Tannehill. We talked about, and so I think if they don't get, depending on, like we said, where they're picking, I think it's possible for him to come back for sure, and he's playing well.
Yeah. Jaguars at Browns. Is Joe Flacco the quarterback the Browns needed this entire time?
Well, they lost, so no.
No. He just, it's funny. Joe Flacco's the quarterback that Elijah Moore needed this whole time. He's the
Crazy.
Elijah Moore can only be successful when Joe Flacco is the quarterback for him. So fire up your Elijah Moore shares, but everyone else is.
Yep, please do.
Fine, I guess.
What's
And
what's Amari Cooper's status? Is he out?
I think so. Let me. You guys talk. Let me look that up.
I was gonna look it up too.
We got T-Law's
you
health
know,
as well. Past 48 hours have been some big steps, and he's really happy with how it's healing up for T-Law. He says if he can be out there, he will be out there.
I feel like he's
go up there.
Yeah, I feel like this is just me, but I feel like he should probably sit out. I mean, they're in a good position. Say they drop one game and then he comes back and other than if you were to play and get re-injured, I think they're good enough to beat the Browns. So I don't know for sure though with CJ Beathard. So I don't know. I know I can see it going either way. It's hard to go off of what we saw here or heard here.
Yeah.
Looks like Cooper's still in the protocol, so he might. I would be surprised if he plays.
Okay. Something to monitor. Lions at Bears. Fire your fields up. They are predicting weather for this game though. It started off as
run the
rain.
ball more?
Yeah, it started off as rain and it's moved to snow. So,
well, the good news is Justin Fields is a really good runner.
Yeah.
Also, this could be a big Monty game then.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Little Monte Carlo.
Pack it in and just beat the hell out of everybody.
Yep.
Take your kneecaps off. Oh, you guys know all the things. All right.
Dan Campbell impersonation?
No, don't show them that. Anyway, Seahawks at 49ers. Kenneth Walker coming back?
I hope so. I don't think he practiced today, though, did he? Sorry.
I know Sharps did not, so I hope Kenneth Walker comes back.
Yeah, Walker and Charbonnet both didn't practice today. So this
wonderful. DJ Dallas, fire him up.
Well, but it's the 49ers, so it's almost one of those things where it's almost be better if Charbonnet and Walker don't play just because it's such a bad matchup. But if they're healthy and start, you feel like you need to start them. But
Yep.
Brock Purdy, is he going to be the MVP of the NFL?
He's the betting favorite right now.
That's crazy.
So I mean, here's the thing.
It could happen.
Maybe just because you generally go to the quarterback is a quarterback position generally on one of the better teams in the league, and so it's him or I don't know, who else would you put up there? That's the problem. Everyone else has been hurt.
Trevor Lawrence maybe if he didn't get hurt and because they're playing really well, but he hasn't been the one that's been playing that well for them, because their team has been playing well overall.
That's kind of like Lamar is too, right? Because the Ravens have been great, but it's not because of Lamar necessarily.
Yeah.
Sam
Laporta.
Honestly, the MVP should probably be Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. 100%.
Do it, NFL. Tyreek Hill. Let's see it happen. Vikings at Raiders. The return of Justin Jefferson with the Pastronaut. How excited are we?
Couldn't happen against a better defense to do it. So
let's go. Fire him up.
This is gonna be this has 150-2 written all over it. So
I have a team where I have him and I'm I think at the 6th spot, and I was just like, thank God he's back.
Yeah.
Thank God he's back.
Nice time. Guess who's back?
Any hopes for Aiden O'Connell out there? Or are we done with that little fun story?
No, I was never involved in it.
Interesting.
I just act like it wasn't happening. I felt the same way about him as I did about Jimmy Garoppolo. I was like, I don't really want anything to do because I had the whole New England West fears and all that, and I didn't want any parts of it. So I didn't get down with that. I like that he looks like Farva. That's
yeah, that's the best thing about him. But I think he's like a okay game manager. They're not like the Vikings don't have the best defense, so I think they'll be able to score a little bit. I think Devontae Adams will probably get enough to help you. But that's kind of the best thing, about him.
Coming. This is a very mid game. Is the best way I can say this.
100%.
Yeah. So
that's your thing.
Hey, speaking of mid games, Broncos at Chargers. Broncos kind of came back to earth, rushed with a bunch of turnovers last week versus the Texans. Chargers really haven't this Kellen Moore offense. We were so excited all year, leading up to this. Hasn't really been all sunshines and daisies, honestly, I don't think.
Yeah, which is weird because I feel like I keep seeing Kellen Moore's name pop up for head coaching jobs. I don't fully understand it because I don't think he's done anything particularly impressive. Now, granted, they've lost all of their wide receivers, and the one they drafted sucks, and Quentin Johnston. But I don't know, man. This has been
I would not if I'm obviously not a general manager, but I would not be.
You're not?
Going after, I'm not surprised.
not yet.
Not
yet, you mean?
He's not a guy I'd go after as my head coach. One thing I think would be really fun though is I don't know if you would like this, Ron, because you want to keep him, but I think Ben Johnson with the Chargers or with Herbert would be really good.
Let's be real. Ben Johnson's gone. This is the last season in Detroit, so enjoy the ride.
Yeah, but that was just thinking we heard reports of Ben Johnson going to Carolina, but if the Chargers job opens up,
tried to get him last year.
Yeah, if that job opens up, when that job opens up, I feel like that would be a much better spot than Carolina. You have a really good quarterback, your defense is pretty good. You're gonna need some new wide receivers, but that team is supposed to be really good.
Can we talk about how bad Austin Eckler's been these last few weeks?
Yeah, he's been pretty.
Dan was onto something.
Bad.
Yeah,
if you watched
happened
2 weeks ago, I just think overall that offense is just really bad right now.
But he just looks stuck in the mud when he's running. Is he
true?
I don't feel like he's fully healthy, or he hit the age cliff just super hard. He looks slow.
So he hasn't broke 10 points in the past 3 weeks,
which is crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, for Austin Eckler. Yeah, that's.
I would say he's not healthy because we've seen him play well. I mean, in the beginning of the season he played well, and then he got injured. So I just think with him being older, it's gonna obviously takes longer to heal up, and so I think he just wants to be out there, and so I don't think he's 100% healthy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Very, very, very good possibility on the health. Yeah, if Ben Johnson wants to go to the Chargers, I can't really blame him there because you get Justin Herbert.
That defense is good.
Which I know Herbert's good, but he hasn't really done a whole lot.
Yeah,
if we're being real, he's put up some good numbers, but he hasn't done a whole lot of winning. He really hasn't. If you looked at his fourth quarter comebacks, are really just not there. He started a bunch of interceptions in the fourth quarter, when trailing and game tying situations. Yep. So I know Herbert gets a lot of praise, and I don't want to crap on him because I like Justin Herbert, but he's not like the NFL's golden boy. He likes to get painted on social media, at least.
No, that's fair. 100% fair. I mean, I don't even know if a new head coach would have really helped. I think it's more of an people have said it before, but I think it's an organizational issue.
Sure.
But I think somebody like Ben Johnson could really help Justin Herbert.
For sure.
Yeah. I just hope that Ben Johnson just decides, you know what, I think I just want to stay here in Detroit and finish out what we started here, Dan.
Yeah, sure.
I can see it. I can see it happening. I can see it.
You can see, of course, you can.
Bieniemy stuck around forever with Andy Reid.
That was a different situation, I think, but yeah.
And he went over to Washington. My goodness.
Yeah, what a move that was for him. It's working out really well.
I will say though, if Ben Johnson leaves, sell Jared Goff for whatever you can, because that
You should be selling Jared Goff for whatever you can anyway.
I mean, that's
True.
fair.
That fucking bum. Anyway.
Wow.
Sorry. Listen.
Whoa.
Just
Sorry
have
for our
like an ounce
for
of
our 2 viewers.
athleticism. An ounce of athleticism in your body, Jared. Run away from a defensive end like 1 or 2 times so we don't have to do everything perfect on every single play for you to succeed. Please.
All right, Bills at
Please.
Chiefs.
Thank you. Don't get me off of here. Yeah, what happened to the Bills? I don't know. Flip a coin. Josh Allen isn't Josh Allen anymore. He just doesn't want to wing it. Who knows, man? I mean, they're kind of, I don't know. They hired his quarterback coach to be the offensive coordinator, and we've kind of seen that doesn't always really go very well. Didn't Ben Roethlisberger do the same thing at the end of his tenure? And I know Ben Roethlisberger was like washed at that point in time, but like nothing seems to go well when you give the quarterback the exact guy he wants.
I mean, it can, just depending on if that coach is a good play caller, but I think that's part of it. They haven't been calling good plays, and I don't think the surrounding talent is as good around him as it has been in years past.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, agreed.
He really misses Cole Beasley, that's for sure.
I mean, Cole Beasley and him were boys, man.
Slot machine, dude. Hey, there's something about a dude that could just go get you a first down every single passing down.
I think he really misses Dayball.
I think that's probably the biggest part. Yeah.
Yep.
I think all of Buffalo misses Brian Daboll.
Yep.
So as Matt Nagy quarterback kryptonite, or Mahomes struggles due to lack of receiving options, and I'm going to say the lack of receiving options is a situation. It's stopped
bad receivers last year.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Well, I think I don't want to. It's hard to say this. It's kind of sad to say this, but I think Kelsey is like one step, not quite as good as he was last year. And then also on top of that, having the lack of receivers, I think all in that. And then they have Pacheco, who's solid, but I think they're just missing some pieces on offense. I think they obviously didn't have much last year, but I think Kelsey was just a little bit better last year. I think,
McKinnon was the big piece of the offense last year too.
Yeah. Yep. And Juju. Juju was like a 900-yard receiver for them last year. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at.
Yep.
Say what you want about Juju, but he could catch the ball with some reliable hands.
Right. And I think that's it, man. I just think, because you go to every one of these games. I mean, you watch even to week 1 when they played the Lions, dude. I mean, the pick 6 came off of Kadarius Toney's hands.
Yep.
Some dude dropped a deep ball that would have been a game, winning touchdown as well in that
MVS.
Yeah. So if you were to put all those drops, to Mahomes, I think we're not even having this conversation.
Give him half the drops that that he's had all year, and then you're like, oh my god. Yeah. Eagles at Cowboys. Ooh, let's get excited. Tony Pollard resurgence.
He's been better. He's scored. He's getting more involved. I don't know if there was like an injury problem there, or maybe he wasn't listed, but he wasn't all the way healthy. But
it's because I traded for him. Boom.
Perfect.
On a contender. He's going to help me out in the playoffs.
I think there's actually I think his touches actually went down and the Dwaddle usage went up. And I think Dwaddle is doing the
Isn't it
I thought it was Dowdle.
Dowdle is what we're going with.
We'll reach out to Dan.
Dan's our resident Cowboys fan. He'll know.
Yeah, he will tell us.
But touchdowns three straight weeks for the Pollard man.
And
Tony the Pony, let's go.
Tony the Pony.
He's doing all the between the tackles stuff for old Tony.
Yeah, he looks good, and he's actually getting the touchdowns. So it's been really good for fantasy. I like this question here. Is CD in the discussion for Dynasty wide receiver 1? And I personally think he's firmly at number 3.
Good question, but absolutely not.
Yeah, I think he's I mean, it's
I think he's
I
close.
think he
for what it's
yes,
worth.
that's what I was gonna say. I think he's close, and I think he's creeping up on that. Like I don't, depending on how you have your tiers. Like I personally have Justin Herbert, or excuse me, Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase in a tier together, but CeeDee Lamb is creeping into that tier.
I do too, but now I'm almost tempted to have CD in his own tier at 3 before you get down to the next group of guys. I think
Got it.
and
Yeah,
I think he's
be
probably
fair.
closer to the tier 1 than he is the tier 3. I think he's
Yep.
closer to 1 and 2 than he is to 4. If that makes
Yes.
sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I think there's a good clean break after number 3, right? We can throw in AJ Brown, we can throw in Puka. I'm just kidding. But like it's
He meant to say Tank Dell, Ron.
Yeah.
Smirching sun god. Jeez
But
Louise.
yeah, so I mean, I think totally there's a nice clean break between wide receiver 3 and 4. AJ Brown is, still really, really good, but I think those top 3 guys are like
They're
an
just better.
extra guy ahead of him.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. Dallas Goedert, full participant this week
Yeah.
in practice so far. That's exciting.
They took
Let's
away
go.
his
Forearm.
injury designation, so he doesn't have one. So he should be good to go, which is super exciting. I have so much Dallas Goedert, and I need him to save
Yep.
me.
So do I.
Yes,
I think I have one league where this is a random league, but I think I have Hawk and Goddard, and I'm
Oh baby,
stoked to get those back. Yeah, get Goddard back.
Yeah. Packers at Giants on Monday night. Tommy DeVito is the starter. Do you guys trust any Giants players?
Saquon.
but only because you need to, not because
Yeah.
you feel good about it, right? Like I haven't felt good about putting Saquon in a lineup like half a year. But you have to, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't bench him because as soon as you do, he's gonna have some monster Saquon game.
Yeah, and also how bad running back is.
Sure.
It's like
oh my god,
who do you have that you'd feel more comfortable with putting in over Saquon? So I mean,
sure.
I don't know. It's hard with how bad the Giants are.
I agree. Are you guys starting to believe in Christian Watson? I'll go first. No.
I'm with you. Yeah, no, I don't know if it's just that I've always just hated Christian Watson. I just not.
Why do you hate?
Not,
why do you hate
not
him?
a fan.
Fun.
Just
fast.
yeah.
Bad hands. What's not to love?
Bad hammies.
Bad hands and bad hammies.
The hands and the hammies. The hands and the hammies.
But I don't know. It just all came in those couple games, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's so good," and so I just kind of jumped on the bandwagon of he's not any good.
I feel like he's like the new Gabe Davis, and that you want to believe in him, but he just goes in these spurts where you're just like, okay, yeah, this dude can do it, but he's never going to be consistent because just looking at it, the last 3 weeks have been great, but he scored 4 touchdowns in the 3 weeks. He scored 1 other touchdown the rest of the year, so
he did the same thing last year. Yeah,
I think he's just kind of like the new Gabe Davis, and he's going to have his moments, but you're never going to feel good starting him, and he's going to burn you a lot when you do.
Yeah, that was really, really good. Yeah, good comp right there.
Okay, we got the 2-minute drive. You guys ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
There's no good underdogs this week, so I got nothing.
This is the week to do it. The one that you want to give up on is the week it's going to hit, Ron. So dig deep.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh man, I have to
do your research. Let's go. I believe in you.
Yeah.
For me, the thing I came up with was and I kind of started doing this the other day. So just take a minute to look at your rosters. Some of the teams that you didn't make the playoffs, just figure out kind of what went wrong. Were you intentionally trying not to make the playoffs to get a better draft pick, or were there leagues where, and I have quite a few of these where I thought I was going to make the playoffs, and maybe I don't have a 24 first anymore? What happened? Was it bad start-sit decisions? Was it bad injury luck? Did you just make bad calls, trade for players you thought were going to be better than they were? But just kind of take a look at those rosters, see what went wrong, see if you can learn anything from your mistakes so that you don't repeat them, and hopefully improve your rosters going forward.
Yep, I think a good tool for that as well is Dynasty Daddy. I don't use it enough, and I'm starting to use it a bit more. So, that's when you're going through some of those rosters that you missed the playoffs and you thought you were going to, and you don't have that first. Definitely look into to Dynasty Daddy, because maybe you didn't like Jay said, maybe you didn't put in those players that should be in there. And then I just wanted to thank Dynasty Theory. The Discord community is awesome. And then the ability for us to be part of their, be sponsored by them and be a part of it is just, I just wanted to thank them. I think we have before, but I can never thank them enough. So it's been awesome to be able to do this and be a part of their YouTube channel. And then just, if you have not, if you're not part of the Patreon, I would highly encourage you to. There's one of the things that I think is the most fun is the game day chat. Just everybody in there just chatting about the games. And then sometimes if I'm not home playing the games, or watching the games, I can, be on my phone and I'm out, and I feel like I'm not really missing much. And so, and then just JB's got so much information to, learn from, Mitch, Dan, and then just all the other guys as well. Like, I've learned so much, and I think that's part of why I 100% think that's part of why my percentage of playoff teams is going up a lot. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. The Discord is also free too.
It is.
If you guys just want to check that out for free for a little bit, you can hit any of us up. We can get you guys in there. No problem. Sure. Anything else?
That's all I got.
That's all we got.
Out of here.
Peace out.
Peace.
See ya.